I have to say that BEST was the best thing that ever happened to me. There was 4 different things that I learned through my time with BEST Robotics that have put me in good standing the rest of my life. Number 1 is that you cannot have success without failure. Failure is essential to being able to find out what doesn't work so that you can then find out what does. And then you can grow and you can learn, and that's what BEST is all about, is learning from your failures, learning from other people's failures to find success. Number 2, big thing that I learned, is that diversity is essential to a team that it does amazing innovation. It is through diversity of thought, diversity of people, diversity of backgrounds, that we can bring different ideas and thoughts to the table so that we can be successful. Number 3, everyone deserves a spot at the table and a voice. A place where they can feel free to bring their ideas, their thoughts, their emotions, and that they can be welcomed for who they are. Because it is only by different people bringing forth their thoughts, speaking those thoughts, that all of a sudden that sparks a thought in someone else's mind to create this amazing thing that leads to success. And number 4, no man is an island, and everyone needs mentors. I have to say that it is because the mentorship of people like Mr. Alexander, Mr. Luce, Mr. Dirksen, and the DeGraffs that I learned the things that I needed to help lead the team. And every single step of the way, we as people, we have to go to others to learn, to grow, to have us be held accountable for what's going on in our lives. Through those 4 things, I have found success.
As I reflect on my time in the robotics team, I could spend hours talking to you about like the many memories I have with friends or how fast 6 weeks flies by. But the biggest impact I think that this team had on me was how it pushed me to excel in life. And I think that comes down to the core and the foundation of what this team really embodies, and that is Christ-centered and God first. So one of the challenges that I had when I was team lead was putting together the devotionals. Before we ever stepped foot on a shop floor, the team lead of whatever year it was would always put together a devotional and spend time in prayer, because I think it really helped us to remember who we were working before, and it really unified us as we were facing the challenges ahead. So as a 16-year-old who thinks they know it all, it was very easy to do my own personal Bible studies, but when you have to bring that forward publicly, it becomes, the weight of the responsibility becomes a little bit heavier, and you realize you can't just skim the surface, but you actually have to dive deeper. So spending more time in the Word is a must. So that, added with the fact that it helped encourage me to be more bold about my faith in a public forum, are 2 of the areas that this program really helped me excel, not just on a playing floor, but in life. There's been so many people who've been influential, both students and parents that have been a part of this team, and I would never be able to say thank you to all of them. But some of the ones that come to mind from the parent standpoint was Mrs. Mitchell and all the prayer support that she had, and Mrs. Udd with all the creativity that she always brought. And then you had the dads who were always out on the shop floor making sure that we were safe. So like Mr. Weddle and Mr. Alexander, those were very influential in teaching us, both how to be men, but also, tool safety and how to continue to persevere through all the challenges. Some of the students that really meant a lot to me, and I had the honor of getting to work alongside were Brett Harms and Evan Johnson and Hannah Johnson, and also Susan Hansen, Laura Harms. There's so many of you that really it was a joy to be in leadership with, and just to continue to guide this team.
I was a member of the team for 4 years, and I would still say to this day that was one of, if not the most formative times of my life. Being on the team, the things that I learned and the people that I met are still influencing me and influencing my life to this day. The career I have and the relationships I have with people, a lot of those I gained when I was with the team. Going into my first year, I was not a particularly social kid, a little awkward, and I think being on the team helped me learn a lot of social skills. Another thing that was very valuable from my time with the team is just the amount of technical skills and expertise I learned from my teammates, from mentors, from teachers and parents that worked with the team. I also learned when working on a team, both professionally and on the team, both working under people in my first couple of years and also being team lead the last couple of years, being able to understand working on a team, a lot of it is just being able to know when and who to ask questions, not always assuming that you know the most, or just because you are in charge of something that you have to know everything or do everything. Everyone's input and everyone's contributions are valuable, and everyone has different expertises. In addition to the social aspects and the building of friendships and all of that, the experience I gained in essentially a faux work environment was really valuable and is still contributing to what I'm doing today. You know, I was at HQ, 20, 30 hours a week sometimes, along with my teammates, working away, and it was fun, but it was also work, and we were learning lots of things. We're doing programming and technical documentation, working on booth and notebook and the website and the robot and everything like that, and learning to work with other people, to communicate, to be able to summarize and explain your thoughts, and be able to also know when you don't know stuff, when to ask questions and who to ask those questions to. And also just being able to, in my first couple of years, work under others and learn what that dynamic is like, and then being able to, as team lead and understand kind of what that looks like, being in charge of, at the time, I think there was something like 40 plus team members, which was a lot of people. And so I think that all was incredibly educational, and honestly not an experience I think you can get in any other type of high school program or extracurricular. Mrs. Morris would always sit in on our presentations, and along with Mrs. Alexander and Mr. Alexander, and would always have very good advice. And that was something that I really struggled with, that I needed to learn a lot. And so her help, and like I said, Mrs. Alexander and Mr. Alexander's help were very valuable. And also talking to the previous team leaders, Brett Harms was one. He had been the team leader before me. And so watching his example and being able to talk to him as he was mentoring with the team, super helpful. So yeah, I think just everyone that was on the team, that was mentoring, I gained a lot from.
I'll admit, I was a bit nervous when I joined Best Robotics. I think what I thought was that in order to be part of a robotics team, it was making me have to be an engineer, effectively. That's not really the point of Best. Best is all about learning. It's boosting engineering, science, and technology for a reason. When I became part of Best, I didn't really interact well with some of the kids my age. I was socially awkward, etc., as most of us are. I got along pretty well with the adults, but over time, I learned about shop tools, about engineering, and ultimately about robotics, as the team might imply. When I look back to my time in robotics, I can think of a couple points that are effectively lessons that I took from my time in robotics to my time as a professional engineer now. Some of those would be working with people of diverse backgrounds, understanding the engineering process, and getting the opportunity to use a real hands-on simulation, for lack of better words, with the engineering process. being part of marketing presentations, and ultimately being part of a team under a common goal. These are all skill sets that I learned in robotics that I can use now in my career. The year I was president was 2016. The game was Bet the Farm. The goal of the game was to help BLT farms maximize their lettuce and tomato, among other different types of crops, production effectively. What our goal was to create the robot for BLT farms in order to do this. At the time, the team had the smallest numbers we had seen. We only had 17 students spread across all the different sub-teams and functions of the Wichita Warriors. This was difficult because due to those lack of resources, the skill sets effectively, we had to have many people who doubled up on different roles in order to still achieve what we needed for the competition. However, by coming together under the goal of doing our very best and glorifying God, we kept the goal in mind of achieving what the game needed, going through the engineering process, and being very methodical. And as a result, we achieved great success in 2016. I'm really grateful for robotics for another reason. One of the reasons that I'm grateful for robotics would be many of the friendships that I forged during my time on the team, I still have today. I think robotics is important for the professional aspect, but also the very personal aspect. There's a big community here, a big homeschool community that has a lot of potential and provides a lot of networking.
I was on the robotics team for 6 years, all throughout middle school and high school. I first joined the robotics team because my older brother was the best leader on the team, and he made a lot of friends, learned a lot, had a bunch of fun. So naturally I wanted to join the team, but I wasn't going to work under him, so I joined the robot side. I worked on the robot for a couple years. In 2016, on my third year on the team, was when I really fell in love with robotics. It was that year that our large team of about 30 to 40 people changed into 16 people. With such a small team, everybody got to do a lot more work, a variety of different tasks, and everybody got to know each other a lot better. The other year that's pretty important is 2019, which was my senior year and final year on the team, and I was selected as the team president. But it turns out managing a robotics team is more difficult than it might sound. We had a few different issues that I had never had to overcome before. For example, on the best side, nobody wanted to work on the notebook. Everybody wanted to be on the booth team, which left a lot of other vacancies that needed to be filled. So that year I spent most of my time writing the notebook, which wasn't exactly what I had expected, but nevertheless, as the president, you get to wear many hats and you go where the team needs you. Overall, it was a great experience. This was the year I also learned a lot more about the team and the best competition in general. Really how the robot side and the best side work together, how they complement each other, and everything from the finances and the fundraising to how our robotics team recruits and reaches out to the public. 25 years is such a long time for a team like this to be around. My family's been a part of it since my older brother first joined in 2013. That's 10 years of being on this team. It's a lot of time. And when you've got a team around for 25 years, I mean, there's a lot of experience, a lot of problem solving that has been done in the past. There's been numerous times when I was on the team when we looked at past robots and we said, well, they have a similar problem. How did they get around it? How did they solve it? So having that experience flowing down from 25 years worth of teams is just incredible. I had learned a lot during my time on the robotics team, but there were a couple people that really helped me grow as an individual, some people that I could just go ask a lot of questions to. The first one would be one of my closest friends on the team, Josh Maxton. He was the president in 2016, and he was always someone that I could call up and ask, like, hey, did you have a situation like this? How'd you handle it? What did you wish you had done differently? When I was president, we had about 25 students on the team then. We had grown significantly from the 16 we had had just 3 years before, but it was still a fairly small team. We had just enough students to get everything done on time and put people in the places they needed to be, but not too many students that we didn't know what to do, and there was bad communication, and too many students not doing anything and just causing trouble.
When I first joined the team in 2018, I didn't fully grasp the immense impact it would have on my life. It gave me an opportunity to learn and grow like never before. I eventually found out that Wichita Homeschool Robotics doesn't just build robots, it builds character, knowledge, and experience into the lives of its students. Everyone on the team plays a vital part in the overall success and function of the team. In fact, if it wasn't for the dedication of each parent, student, mentor, and supporter, the team would have never been able to reach this incredible milestone of 25 years. Even though the journey of Wichita Homeschool Robotics has been filled with many ups and downs, the team perseveres through it all and builds robots that compete at national levels. I believe that this has proven that with the Lord, with determination, with dedication, and with overall teamwork, Wichita Homeschool Robotics can accomplish any task set before them. When I think back on my time with Wichita Homeschool Robotics, I can't help but be filled with a deep sense of gratitude and thankfulness. Seeing the energy, the passion, and the dedication of those involved is something that I'll never forget. Little did I know back then that one day I would have the privilege of leading this incredible team and incredible community. When I became president in 2021, the team was unfortunately in really poor shape. Due to COVID-19 and other situations, the team had unfortunately declined to only 15 students, and at that time was the smallest it had been in its history. Finances had dropped and numbers were at an all-time low. I'm sad to say, but it honestly looked like the end of Wichita Homeschool Robotics. However, as I began to try to lead the team, I was deeply inspired by the stories and success that echo through the team's history. I was also inspired by all the parents, coaches, mentors, and supporters who had pushed so hard to allow the team to continue for so many years. And I was lastly inspired by all the students whose lives and careers have been dramatically changed from the experience and knowledge they gained from being on the team. Fortunately, through all the inspiration and through the dedication of those involved, the team was able to recover from 2021. And by now, the team is back to being what it's always been in the past.
For 25 years, the Wichita Homeschool Robotics team has been creating champions, not just on the game floor, but also in life. I'd like to say congratulations to all the members who have been a part of this. And I want to challenge the next generation to continue to put Christ first, to have fun in learning, and to continue to hold on to this tradition of excellence.
Go Warriors!